Hey, y'all, so I just watched Mickey 17, and honestly, this has been a movie that has been on my radar for a while because I love the director. I loved Parasite so much that I was I watched Snowpiercer, so I also enjoyed that. So I was very, very curious about his new film. And Robert Pattinson makes some interesting choices. Like, he always picks kind of very character roles. So I was intrigued about this. It's definitely a bit of a wild ride. Like, I'm quite not sure what to expect. First of all, you get those weird creatures, and then you realize they're kind of good creatures. And then you have like the dynamics of like that society, right? There's definitely some caricatures in there, some characters that feel like they could be pulled out of real life or headlines or newspapers. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna say anything. And then you have real like sort of like questions of like identity, right? Like, isn't it interesting that Mickey's brain is always downloaded, but every version of him is just slightly bit different? Like, isn't that an interesting concept? Almost like if something had changed a little bit, you would be a different person, or even just a little bit. Like, it's just interesting to think what makes us us, right? Is it the memories? Because Mickey gets downloaded his memories all the time, and is a little bit different. 18 is so much different than 17. Or is it the experiences? Because 18 definitely had some different experiences than 17. Um, or is it something else entirely? So it's definitely an interesting sort of dynamic to like watch them be different people. It also again has like those questions of morality that they touched on very, very lightly in the show about like, is it one soul, one body, or is it like what happens when there are quote unquote multiples? And even like they had these little like random like stories in between, like about the serial killer scientist who made two versions of himself, one for an alibi and then one for another alibi when the two get caught. So there are all these like interesting little moments to think about, and even the fact that he's expendable is like, well, people are like, well, it doesn't matter if you die, right? Even his best friend was like, I'll just leave you here to slowly die, because it doesn't matter. You're going to get copied out anyways, right? He still feels the pain. He still remembers the death. It's still scary to him every single time. And then the fact that he is then able to be cloned and stuff like that, they saw him as less than, right? Like a different like species almost altogether, where he was used as a guinea pig, used as like to create like chemical warfare. It was a very kind of like telling commentary on class and the society and the way we view someone other than ourselves. Which, to be honest, like this director always has like elements of that within his film, so that's why they're always an interesting thought reaction, right? So even to be honest, as I'm saying this, I'm probably gonna film another version of this, and like as I ruminate a little bit more on this movie, just because this is so fresh in my mind. Like, these are just my immediate sort of reactions. Um, yeah, but it's gonna linger. It's gonna make me think, and I hope you watch it, because um, the great thing about film, and especially when it's like fantasy or sci-fi or something that's not like modern world, is that it allows you to comment on these sort of like dynamics, these questions that you have about humanity, whether it's good, bad, or ugly. It allows you to question that and examine humanity from a distance, which I think is always beneficial. Sometimes like sometimes people don't realize that what the author is commenting on or asking you to question is your own actions, but some people do get it, some people don't. But I think it's always useful in a sense to take yourself out of the equation, emotions, identity, ego, and like look at your actual behaviors or the behaviors of the people around you and see, is this the type of society that I want to be in? Is this a part of society that I want to be a part of? What are the actions I want to take to be proud of me as an individual? Because it's really interesting, because like sometimes you watch one of these sort of like movies or films and with a clear commentary, and society picks or roots for a villain that you didn't necessarily expect, right? I'm really curious about the authors who had their audience root for villains. But yeah, I really loved the movie. I think if you're into that thing or open to that sort of exploration of thought, and like open to potentially some weird sci-fi in the best way, give it a shot. Definitely worth it.